Good morning, everyone. It's the Todd and Erin morning thing on GetBartDaily.com.
What? Morning thing? Could you come back?
It's the morning thing. Enjoy the morning thing.
Could you come back in the set, please?
Morning stream on GetBartDaily.com.
I had bad bangs today.
Do you have bad bangs?
Alrighty.
Yeah, I got a weird thing going.
Yeah, it's kind of like a little
What is
spout.
that?
I don't know. Can you push it down or something? See, this is, ow! Everything I had against video podcasting, because after 20 years of radio, it was like, I can wear yoga pants and I don't have to wear makeup. This whole thing with cosmetics and like attempting to groom every day.
I'm not wearing pants. All right, so we should go to the morning cam.
We should,
Well,
but I
we
don't
have
think
some technical.
yeah, so what are we doing? It's brought to you by Black Diamond Experts in electric, plumbing, heating, and air. I don't think it really looks...
Snow-capped mountains.
I don't think it really looks like that, but okay.
And it's being brought to you by them.
That's really smooth, baby. That's smooth. Alrighty, pretty interesting things today. More news about the Mad Pooper, everything about the NFL going on.
Erin's getting a surprise medical procedure today she doesn't know about.
And scientists tell us there actually is a reason for pumpkin spice everything. All right, starting off with the NFL.
Oh, are we going to do this?
No, we do. So after...
Do you remember the fighting in our house yesterday?
No, I think we can do this. Well, here's the deal. President Trump got his phone back. Someone foolishly didn't hide it well enough, and he tweeted that, and this is his right and his feeling, he said that he thought that it was disrespectful for NFL players to take a knee during the National Anthem, which of course showing that they do not want to issue respect by standing and placing their hand over their heart, and that coaches and owners should fire those.
This is the point where we started fighting.
Son of a bees for if they do that. So this is the response last night was pretty intense. There were some places where owners and coaches were all standing arm in arm, and they all locked arms to show their support. Mm-hmm. Some of the players took a knee, some
and
didn't.
They stood up locking arms. They kneeled to show locking arms.
Yeah, to show the solidarity of
Once again, this is where the fight starts.
You know, this is not going to happen. Now here's where this gets weird for me. Two major things. We had this argument that I am completely against this choice for the NFL. Not the solidarity, that's beautiful, but taking a knee. It started with Colin Kaepernick from the San Francisco 49ers, who was protesting all the injustice that African Americans go through, which is a valid point.
Wanted to draw attention to that.
Perhaps he could have gone through Black Lives Matter, NAACP, Southern Poverty Law Center, many of the other organizations that fight for this. He is an adopted son of white parents who has lived an extraordinarily privileged background. And it seemed like perhaps
that's where it started.
He was not a great role model for this because he had always lived a very privileged life and had not really exhibited any interest in social injustice.
See how it's going?
He got a lot of attention for it.
Spiraling.
Now here's where it gets hard though. I mean, the Pittsburgh Steelers not only they didn't even lock arms or even go onto the field. They refused to take the field until after the National Anthem was over.
Actually, they had to go out because at the last minute because they would have missed certain parts of the game. They would have been penalized 15 yards, and there was something else about forfeiting.
Okay, well, here's the deal. They really didn't take the field, but the offensive lineman, Alejandro Villanova, who was a captain in the Army and an ex-Ranger, 3 tours in Afghanistan, he had to stand in the tunnel with his hand over his heart to show his respect, but not violate the uniformity of his teammates. And to me, that seems incredibly sad that as an Army Ranger and someone who fought for our country, he actually had to stand in the shadows to show his respect. And the second, here's where it gets, you're at work.
You can see the fight, right?
I know, I get that this is freedom of speech, and it's the same freedom of speech we have to give to the Nazis or to anybody else. But you're at work. If you were working up at the University of Utah, you couldn't suddenly rip off your jacket and say, hey, I'm a Nazi and I get a protest. You could not do that. There's nobody else who can go to work and behave like this. You can't. And so if this was not work, I'm fine. Go out in your street clothes, go out all day long and take a knee, do anything you want. But you are at work. You do not get to do this at work. I guess that's my main stance. And you're still going to go with the freedom of speech thing.
I'm going to move on.
No, but seriously.
I'm going to talk about earthquakes.
No.
What?
No,
I'm not getting into it.
No, you have to say something because you were because you disagreed with me.
I have to say something.
You disagreed with me, so I think it's only fair that you respond.
No, because then you'll come back, and the next thing you know, Rush Limbaugh will run into the room, and we'll have to arm wrestle. And I don't want to do that because I would kick his butt. Sean Hannity come in and we Indian leg wrestle.
Are you aligning me with Sean Hannity and Rush Limbaugh?
Let's talk about the earthquakes.
What?
You saw that. You're a witness. You're a witness.
Did you
saw
just
that.
align me with?
Yeah.
No, you just aligned me with Rush Limbaugh.
You'll be served with papers later, ma'am.
You just aligned me with Rush Limbaugh.
I didn't say that.
You apologize, or I'm walking out of this room right now. I will walk out of this room.
Would you stop talking about football?
I will. Yeah, but you'll be doing the show on your own. Here's all your copy. Oh, I got my phone. I can pass off some messages.
No, Sid. I apologize. Rush Limbaugh thing. All right.
I don't think that what I said was unreasonable.
I didn't say it was unreasonable. You're still trying to pick a fight.
No, I'm just, you didn't say your part. No, you just sat there and rolled your eyes, so you make me look like the crazy person.
I will say mine in 3 sentences.
All right.
Maybe 6. It is easy to support the First Amendment when things are easy. When things are tough, and you got to say that the KKK gets to speak up about their events and them recruiting other people, that's when it's tough. But they get to do it, unfortunately, even if you disagree with them.
Do you get to do it at work?
There's a lot of Nazis at work. We were in radio. Please. Really? Our last program director, he was a Nazi. All right, let's move on to earthquakes, shall we?
Not a program director, our GM, honey. There's a difference.
Oh, no, both of them. Oh, no, not that one. The one before that. Okay.
The one before that was. Okay.
It rhymes with...
Don't start. Let's move on, shall we?
Earthquakes.
Earthquakes, there were some.
Are you going to talk about earthquakes?
No, because you have the copy.
I didn't talk about, these minor earthquakes. What is going on, people?
Well, you know that we've had the earthquake swarm up in Idaho.
We had a swarm?
Literally, those poor people pick stuff up back off the floor and it starts shaking off the table again. I mean, I felt for them. But so there was some anxiety when it got started here. There was a magnitude 3.4 quake that was southeast of the town of Monroe. That was quite a ways away down in southern Utah. Not as big a deal.
I think it was Thursday we had one in Park City.
Okay. But that's just the fact they all started freaking out, and then there were 2 more aftershocks that happened on Saturday night and Sunday morning.
Which is typical.
Yeah, it's just a little stressful with everything.
I just thought it was so weird yesterday with the with all the rain. I've rarely seen it rain for an entire day in Utah.
And big rain.
And big rain.
Big rain.
And I didn't have enough wood for the ark, but Erin and I have reserved the top level because animal poo and pee doesn't flow uphill. That's why. All right.
Are you drinking this morning?
No, but I should. There's some right over there. Well, it's hand sanitizer, but you got to do what you got to do. This is an update. This is an update about the Mad Pooper.
Oh, this is funny.
All right, so this woman, can I just give the rundown?
Absolutely.
Where was this?
The Colorado Springs.
Okay. So Colorado Springs, and so this lady was looking out the window, and her kid's running in. She goes, "Mom, there's a woman. She's pooping on the front yard," and she was.
I mean, like a normally dressed, normally looking woman. It wasn't like she was wearing normal running clothes. She didn't look like a crazy woman, tearing her hair out and screaming, ah.
And so she ran out. She goes, "What are you doing? First of all, you're pooping on my lawn. What's that about?" And she goes, "Oh, I'm sorry," and runs away. Jogs away. Doesn't run. Just jogs.
Casually.
All right, so it happened again. And then she called the authorities because you have someone squatting in your front yard and it's gross. Take it away.
Well, I think they were trying to go, is this indecent exposure? Because she's dropping trout. They were trying to figure out what would happen here. Well, here's the weird thing. They're still searching for the jogger who's been pooping. But Sherman thought, you know what?
Sherman, the
bathroom tissue company, with the super soft toilet paper.
That's not the one with the bears, is it?
It is.
That's just
it is.
You can wear your underwear 2 days.
They took a stand. And they came out on Twitter and they said, look, if the Mad Pooper will turn herself in, we will give her a year's supply of toilet paper to help her with her runs.
But you know what? Her runs.
Get it? I thought that was rather magnificent of Sherman.
You know what? The toilet paper is free in jail.
This is true. So maybe it's not as enticing as they might have wished.
Everything.
Maybe if they had a portable toilet that went with it or something.
Oh, no, that's the thing. She runs down the road, and right across the street
There's
is
a park with restrooms.
with restrooms in it.
Yeah. So it's not. Yeah, it's. I know, Lindy. I'm sorry. It is totally disgusting.
Dig through
and
for your pumpkin stuff.
I apologize.
Yeah.
Okay, so scientists are saying there actually is a reason for pumpkin spice. I don't have the story.
I do. Okay, yes. Now, what would you think?
Why are we SQ today?
I think this is pretty normal for us. You started the fight. So anyway, let's.
No, you did, because you compared me to Rush Limbaugh.
I just made a mistake.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Okay, let's talk about.
You're
spice.
lucky that we have that sectional, because you'll be sleeping on it. So that's great for you.
Okay,
You'll be completely comfortable. Move on now. Oh, look, it's pumpkin spice Nestle Toll House cookies.
What isn't there pumpkin spice of?
I really don't think there's anything at this point.
No, and where did the pumpkin craze come from? I just talked to Daisy, who comes from a far-off land called England, and she said it's not there. It's a little bit, but not like we're crazy but pumpkin-y. All right. So why? Go ahead.
You've got the science.
No, tell me why. What in your thought? Why would pumpkins overtake the
Pumpkin
world?
spice
Lattes.
Well, pumpkin spice is like redolent of this time of year, of the rich smells of
Keep going.
of the chill
You got
and
it.
the fall and
Keep
the
going.
and the snap of the leaves
Yeah.
falling
And what's coming up after that? Pumpkin-y time.
Thanksgiving,
And following that,
Christmas.
and that's what it is. That's what the scientists. What scientist is taking his time to discover pumpkin stuff? But
Hey,
basically,
everyone wants to stand here.
what
baby.
they're saying is, number one, it's a major change of a season. You're going into a time period where everyone enjoys, has fond childhood memories, perhaps, and that kind of whole thing and that smell. It's also one of the smells like cut grass. Freshly cut grass has an emotional effect on people.
It's really powerful. I'm always amazed by the fact that the scent glands can actually trigger the memory portion of the brain.
That's what it is.
And it's extraordinarily powerful too, which is really interesting to me. Because
So-
it wouldn't be something that you would assume would impact each other.
Now, some people just kind of go with the craze because they're lemmings or they're sheep, and they were like, "Oh, you're eating pumpkin. I'm eating pumpkin too," and it's all has to do with really good memories, except for that semi-turnover last year with the pumpkins. What didn't turn
No, that was just really sad.
out good at all.
There is a reason for it. We're going to be doing a taste test in about a week or so with a couple of chefs and cooks around the valley, and taste testing some of the stuff that maybe shouldn't have been pumpkin spice. I personally feel that pumpkin spice eggnog is an abomination.
Oh.
Eggnog is eggnog. There's very few things that should be allowed to be added to eggnog, except for maybe a scrape of nutmeg and maybe some rum. But to throw in pumpkin spice on such a sacred beverage, to me, seems almost immoral.
If you're going to kill yourself with cholesterol and such, why would you dilute it with anything pumpkin-y when you really just, if you're going to do this to yourself, I think you should go the pure route and just do the eggnog, which really isn't eggnog.
Your arteries want that impact now, and they want it
When
clean.
you drink it, you can hear your heart slow down.
Doesn't matter. It's worth every sip. I'm
North-
sorry, but it really is.
Northern Utah experienced snow. They closed Guardsman Pass.
Snow. Are you serious? Yeah, they closed it to about 2:30.
They did.
Both east and west sides.
So I used to drive it on the first, whenever there was first snow, I had a Jeep at the time, an old Jeep, and I would go Guardsman Path just for the reason that they were going to close it, and there was fresh snow up there.
Yeah, Summit County, they said there were a bunch of roads that were at a crawl because they were not really expecting to pull out the tow trucks this fast. And everyone has four-wheel drive in Summit County, but apparently it was a heavy enough snowfall that it really tangled up everything for a while. Do you know how depressing this is? It's like we're like the coldest city in the country right now. Everybody else, Miami, they're like still suffering through the heat into the 90 degrees.
My sister had 70 degrees yesterday.
Isn't that nice?
She's in New Hampshire.
Yeah, and we get 0.0.
How many people yesterday said, well, welcome to Utah?
Stay 10 minutes and it's going to change again. It didn't, no, it just kept raining.
All right. So anyway, that's going to be reality. Daisy's got some information.
All right, let's go to her in the Gephardt Daily Newsroom. She is brought to you by Fink & McGregor. Mortgage is made simple. If you go to fink-mcgregor.com, you will find a plethora of information, and someone will call you back within the next business day. Also by Utah Plumbing, all Utah Plumbing, heating and air. This is the time of year you really need them to turn things on or shut things off. You can get them at allutahplumbing.com. Daisy, good morning. What's going on?
Hello everyone, here's what's making headlines Monday, September 25th on GephartDaily.com. One person is dead and 2 are injured after a shooting in Garden City near Bear Lake Sunday afternoon. First reports of trouble came in just before 2 p.m. When deputies arrived at the Sweetwater Park, they found 3 people had been shot, one of whom was the deceased suspect. The two victims, an older man and a woman, were rushed to the hospital. Their conditions have yet to be released. 2 18-year-olds and a juvenile are in custody after a Friday night shooting that sent one victim to the hospital and had dozens of partygoers running for cover. According to the West Valley Police, the trio had been trading insults over Facebook with someone attending a girl's birthday party when they decided to up the ante by firing 9 shots from a .45 caliber pistol into the crowd standing outside. One man was hit in the legs, but everyone else escaped injury. The 3 teens were taken into custody and now face attempted murder charges. Police say the shooting was gang-related. And the mother of St. George teenager Mason Smith says another search is being organised to try and find the missing teen. Mason walked away from his family's home in the early morning hours of September 1st, 2015, and hasn't been seen or heard from since. The new search will take place in and around St. George on Saturday, October 14th. They hope 200 people will join them. Mason is 6 foot 4 inches tall and weighs 200 pounds. He has light blue eyes and he had short blonde hair when he went missing. Anyone with information as to his whereabouts is asked to call St. George Police. And now a look at the Wasatch Front weather, where in about a week we've gone from 80-degree temps with sunny skies to rain and snow with temps in the 40s and 50s. Delightful. Monday's highs will be in the upper 50s with a slight chance of rain, and then we'll warm up and dry out just a bit Tuesday and Wednesday. That's it for now. For more local headlines 24/7, go to GephartDaily.com. Todd and Erin, back to you.
Thank you, oh so beautiful Daisy. It's Monday and she looks radiant.
She does. You look radiant.
She looks radiant. It's that English skin. She's like a milkmaid. It was really beautiful.
You know, we always talk about Daisy like she's from Mars. I was asking her questions. Another story coming up later today about parking in front of your house in your country, and it's like, it's just like weird. It's like from your solar system, Daisy.
Yeah, it's not even like she's like some faraway like Middle Eastern land. It's like England.
It's like
I'm thinking really relationship wise, they're probably about as close to us as we can get, and we're still like, you are so exotic.
Do you drink milk?
That poor woman.
All right, tell me something
Tell me
good.
this is not awful. Okay, as
It's
always,
awful.
they always start terrible and then they end up really happy. But during Hurricane Harvey flooding, a lot of the sheriffs were going around the various counties in boats, and they were trying to find people, make sure everybody was out. Are you okay? Is everything going on?
Texas area.
Sheriff Troy Nils was down in Fort Bend County, and he was going around on his boat.
Sure.
And this is, I think, like 2 days after the floodwaters at their worst.
Oh, okay.
And he looked over, and there was this little furry head just sticking out of the water, a little snout. And he's like, oh, crap. And so he got, moved over there, tied off to the porch.
Yeah.
The reason why the dog was desperately swimming,
Oh, it was a dog. Let's see.
there was a
Do you
little
have
dog. Yeah, we have a picture, I think.
Okay, all right.
Was because his owner had left and tied him to the porch. His owner had tied him to the porch, and then he had left because of the flooding. And this little gray pup was as the water kept rising and going higher and higher.
He must have thought that the porch was going to be safe.
And he kept swimming
Oh
desperately.
my gosh!
Look at his face.
Oh my gosh!
Look at him. And he's like, they had no idea. They couldn't even calculate how long that little dog could have been swimming to stay up that high. So Niels tied off, and then he jumped down into the water, dove underneath, managed to untie the leash and get the dog out.
Whoa!
Hauled him into the boat.
Now wait a minute. This so far, okay, that's starting to get good, but
took the pup to the Humane Society. They finally managed to reach out to the former owner of the dog. He had said, "Oh, well, I left because of the flooding," and they said, "You tied your dog to the porch," and he goes, "Oh, I didn't think the floodwaters would get my house."
That's
it's
what
like,
I
why
thought.
did you leave then if you didn't think the floodwaters would touch your house?
How would you leave your dog?
And tied to the porch.
You don't deserve a dog.
So no, he didn't get one. But guess who the brand new family of the dog is?
I would have to imagine it's the guy in the boat.
Why, it would indeed be Sheriff Troy Nils.
There he is.
And look at the little girl with the big geeky smile. She's like, cool, I got a dog.
The dog will never be bathed again.
But look at that face. Look how happy he is.
Yeah.
How could you have tied him to the porch?
Oh, what a dirty, rotten.
But now he has. But that's all right because now he has a forever family.
All right.
They will not tie him to the porch during
We
a
wanted
flooding.
to say thank you for viewing and watching and listening to the Todd and Erin morning stream. And the way we're going to do that is to feed your face with Christopher's. If you like steaks, if you like good food, this is the place to go. One of the nice things about it is the staff. You know how you go to a restaurant, and when the staff is nice, it just elevates your whole experience. Boom. First of all, your experience is great already just with the food. They could be nasty, but they don't need to be. So they're really nice. So it takes it up about 4 notches. You are going to love it. If you go down there anyway, you can do it for free because we're going to give one away.
So you go down with your friends, you have a great time, and all you have to do to enter is very simple. Just go onto one of our Facebook pages. You're probably watching us via Facebook right now. You can enter to win on either Todd and Erin Facebook page or on the Gephardt Daily Facebook page, Gephardt approved. Just make a comment at this point in the show, hey, I like Christopher's. That means we know you were watching. We go, oh yeah, good. So you're entered to win. We draw another winner on Friday. It's that simple.
Hey, coming up, Erin doesn't know that she's got a secret medical test going on today.
I do?
It's coming up.
Todd and Erin's Morning Stream, brought to you by Black Diamond Experts. Electric, plumbing, heating, and air conditioning. You'll be glad you called an expert. Fink and McGregor, mortgages made simple. Make sure you go to fink-mcgregor.com and try out their 4-minute mortgage program. It's incredibly easy to find out whether you qualify. The Todd and Erin Morning Stream is actually available anytime at GephardtDaily.com. Just click on the Todd and Erin page.
Did you know you can buy a house with a 600 credit score?
Really?
We have lenders, we have programs, stuff that's come up in the last couple of years. 600.
Wouldn't you have to have like 50% down or something though?
Nope. 3.5%.
Where would you start the process on this?
Well, Fink and McGregor has a website, 4minutemortgage.com. Just go there, fill it out, up and running.
How long until you get back to us?
1 business day. Whole thing takes about a month, start to finish.
Where do you get the down though if you're broke?
It can be a gift from family, relative, significant other, even your work.
Gift, huh?
Yeah.
You know what that makes me wish?
What?
Makes me wish I had friends with money.
All right, so over the weekend.
Comic-Con, so much fun. You know what? The cool thing we did is we ended up having this base because we were more or less there for 3 days. We had this base right across the building at the Access Building.
Across the
Remember
street.
that? Sorry, across the street. 2nd South and 2nd West.
It's an incubator.
And it's gorgeous.
It's
I've never seen it before.
Small startup companies get there and they have all the resources of this entire thing where they have all the audio visual. They have this. They interact with each other. And they have these across the country, but people get to share ideas with other businesses and stuff anyway.
Yeah, Brio Technologies,
I'll tell
it
you
was
more about
amazing.
that, yeah.
But I mean, they had the full studio, so we could use that, and then we could run across the street and film and come back. But it was interesting. It seemed insanely busy. They say that
Really? Because I have other people saying that it wasn't.
Well, we are the second biggest con now in the country, next to
but-
San Diego
but
Comic-Con.
People have been for 3 years. Were actually saying that it seemed, which they weren't complaining about because
They
it's
s-
usually like stacked, but
I don't know. I had Zoe in there for a while, and we were pretty much cheek by jowl.
Okay.
They said we were at 120,000 again. So it was interesting because
a
it
lot
did
of
look
nerds.
it did look lighter. So maybe it got a lot busier on Saturday, which is probably the case. But it was a lot of fun. I mean,
Right.
they had some really interesting actors this year. They had Elijah Wood from Lord of the Rings, and he was telling all these cool stories about Middle Earth. Did you know that Peter Jackson, the director, do you remember the Hobbit house? How beautiful it was with the round doors
Yeah.
and the round ceilings.
they actually make some of those now.
Peter Jackson actually built one of those for he and his wife. He lives in it in New Zealand, and then they used it for filming.
He's kind of tall.
Peter Jackson, well, it's a taller house.
But yeah, but you know, and it's a arch, right? It's a circle. So if you're tall, you could only walk down the center of it. Everything on the side gets lower and lower.
Maybe he's prepared to commit for his art. I don't know. But
Well,
that's what he did.
okay.
But no, it was a lot of fun. I think my favorite interview was Zachary Levi. We're going to play some of the footage for you this week because they were fantastic. He's the one you like from Chuck.
Yeah.
And he's
good.
Fandral
like him.
in Thor, and he actually started tearing up when he had said they didn't ask any of the Warriors 3 to be in Thor Ragnarok, and we're like, that is horrible because it's a really, really good movie.
Let's move on. Erin's
So-
going to go have a medical test today, and she doesn't even know about
How
it.
does that relate to Comic-Con?
Because you're nuts about it, and now you're nuts about something else. And it's something you did there.
Yeah.
Shall we?
Okay.
Erin's getting an MRI on her brain. Do you
Why
know
am I getting an MRI? Oh yeah, that.
So
That.
she takes Zoe down.
Well, I wanted to do some kid-to-kid interviews, so it's more
Right.
entertaining to have a 6-year-old interview a 6-year-old cosplayer than it is having a grown woman. So.
Well, Zoe came in now this is a lightsaber. It's kind of cool, right? It's a cool lightsaber, except for this.
You might be getting into that more than you should, sweetheart. And that's what we heard for the rest of the day until Todd threw it on the roof.
Erin brought it home. Why?
Because Zoe
Why?
had been doing a very good job.
Yeah.
And there were these people walking around with lightsabers, and
Right.
it had cotton candy, I'm not joking, about this big.
Wrapped around the
Wrapped
saber.
around the lightsaber.
So what
the
could be
colors
better?
inside would glow, and so you would be having all these pinks and reds, and
Right.
you're eating cotton candy literally this size.
Right.
Like bigger than, probably about the size of Zoe, if we're talking about height and width.
Okay.
And as she went, I need one of those. And she'd been so good.
What a great combination is jack your kid up on sugar and then give him that saber thing. That's a grandparent present.
It really is.
That's when the grandparents are the kids leaving to go home, and they give them one of those sabers, and then they put him in the car with the parents.
Here, kids.
See you later.
Yeah.
We're getting you a drum set for Christmas.
It probably wasn't well thought out in my particular case.
So the MRI will be happening.
I'm not really getting an MRI, Marianne. I'm sorry. Todd's just trying to be funny. And yes, they are obnoxious. I apologize. Although Karen thought that it was completely reasonable that we should have gotten her some.
No. Do you have the story about the
Okay, fine.
experts on relationships?
I do not have that.
All right. We're
So
gonna
that's going to be
skip it.
the relationship
Oh,
advice
here
from
it
the
is.
experts.
Here it is. Yeah, 15 things. You see
There
these
were
all
5
the time.
things.
You see these all the time. You see them all the time. And
Sometimes they make sense. Sometimes you're not sure what planet they live on.
now this is a test because I think you already know them.
Really? Okay.
All
Hit
right?
me.
So this
I mean, not
actually does have
literally, please.
15, but we're not going to worry about it because this is
15 or 50?
15, but
Oh,
we're not
okay.
going to do them all.
I thought you were going to do all 50. I went, that seems wrong.
It's about couples and couples who have a relationship. Okay, so
Because
give
if you're
me-
a couple, you have one
right,
of those.
yeah. So give me one that you think would be important.
Show your appreciation. That's the biggest one with you and me. The thing that is most guaranteed to start a fight or a misunderstanding between the two of us is if we don't feel appreciated.
That's one.
That's a huge thing.
That's correct. Give me another one.
Try to show your appreciation. I think it's easy to forget things. Like you always do really nice things for me. Like you let me sleep in both weekend mornings, and you get up with the kids, and I will love you and appreciate you for the rest of my life for that. And I think sometimes I don't remember to thank you when you do that,
Oh,
because that's really but it's really nice. It's really nice.
choose what you fight about. Only fight about important stuff and do it fairly.
Does the NFL count?
No, but I think once you both make your point, it shouldn't come up later, 3 hours later when you're making dinner.
You compared me to Rush Limbaugh. You compared me to Rush Limbaugh.
All right. Don't try to be the other's everything.
That's an important one.
Yeah. Like, get a life.
Well, no, it's not that, but I think people do think that you are supposed to be everything in a relationship, and it's like, no, that you should both have other friends. You should miss each other sometimes. You should, because the other person's out doing other fun things to tell you about.
All right, here's another one. When you are being romantic, it's just not then. It's like during the day and the night, day before, and a little kiss, a little nudge, that kind of stuff.
Maybe a card.
Maybe cake.
Cake would be good.
This is my favorite one.
I could always get behind a cake.
Here's my favorite thing. Take care of yourself. You know where that goes.
No, it's not even
Time for self.
No, it's not even that, but it is. It's like,
I feel like doing yoga now.
I bet what they meant was like, take care of yourself physically, like shower and bathe and
No.
keep in
No,
shape
no.
and go
No.
for runs and things like
No,
that.
walking for you when you're doing that, that's a you thing. That's cool.
That's my time for self.
That's your time for self. Every time I hear that, I just want to punch myself when I say it. It's like I have an active lifestyle.
Are there any there that we missed? I mean, that are like, we're all like, I did not know that.
There's a lot about sex.
Well, relationships are a lot about sex. There's a reason there. Pretty much just sex.
That's it. I mean,
Okay.
every time you read one of these, whether it's on Cosmo is usually about sex, but as MSN, they have relationship stuff. And I don't know who keeps rewriting this stuff, but it's always the same. We should all be experts. We just don't follow our own advice.
I think we all know. It's just that everything else gets in the way, like real life and children and anxiety and money issues and
There are
everything
dogs
else.
pooping on the carpet. We can't figure out why.
Anyone a dog expert out there, behavioral?
I think I know what it is.
We
but
need one.
Figure it out. Okay, so
We need one.
I usually don't savor things getting damaged, except for like a demolition derby. But sometimes you see something that is just so amazing. I-80 at the bottom, where it turns on a 215, they had a pipe break. And we're not talking just a pipe.
This was like an epic
Look at this, look at
proportion pipe. Break.
This was absolutely huge. And I've sat on this pipe, and it comes down, I believe it comes down Parley's. And it is...
I would love to show you, but we didn't have that one this morning.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, there's this pipe, and it's about, yay, around. And so it comes down, and it's got some pressure behind it. So anyway, the pipe blew.
That sucker spurted. It was like across the
Hole
freeway.
cracked in it, and it shot across, and it was like a swimming pool every 3 seconds. It was that. And I know I'm not supposed to, like, think that's
But
great.
stuff like that's kind of cool.
It was awesome. And I just kept picturing some guy on top of the mountain. Guy just going, oh, that's open. Close.
Well, the trouble is they couldn't close it all the way because you have to keep up a certain level of pressure because of the water systems below. So they couldn't shut it completely off. So
I don't think they cared at that point.
So they still they did. I was listening to the interview. So they kind of had to repair it, sort of getting doused
it's
at
still
the same
going.
time. Yeah, which makes it a little bit trickier.
I want video of that.
I know, right?
All right.
And on the good news, 106 South off ramp off I-15
Interchange, one of the busiest in the States,
is now open again for everybody because since that's our exit we take for work, we were very happy about that too.
Do you know they finished early?
Really?
So when you drive over this or you take the exit ramps or whatever, I want you to think, here's where my $23 million went. And I'm not saying that sarcastically. I'm saying, look
I'm
what
saying
they
it
did.
fondly.
They fondly, and they made it quicker and faster. And
Thank
good
you.
job.
We appreciate that very, very much.
You guys are awesome.
All right, coming up next, did you know the shape of your face can determine whether or not you're going to cheat? It's true.
It's
We'll
coming
tell
up
you.
next.
We're brought to you this morning by Executive Transportation. Elegant service, professional style. Go to executiveutah.com. And All Utah Plumbing. Your home deserves the best. 24-hour emergency service at allutahplumbing.com. Did you know you can catch the Todd and Erin morning stream any time of the day or night on Facebook, YouTube, and SoundCloud, and GephardtDaily.com?
All right, so here is the thing. The shape of your face talks about your libido and the opportunity to cheat. Now, what's that about? Well,
I have a hard time with this one, though, because I've always seen these like, if you have a heart-shaped face, you're more animated and outgoing. It's like,
right.
Really?
Well, this is actually a university study at Nipissing University of Canada.
Nipissing.
What I say
Nitpissing.
could be night. Anyway, so what they did is they looked at different faces, and because you can tell in about 4 or 5 seconds, or even 3-4 minutes, if I look at you, I can tell a lot of things about you right now. First of all, she's a woman. Number 2, she's kind of happy. Number 3, so you can establish some information just by
Behavioral.
looking.
Yeah, sure.
Now, by looking at your face and the shape of her face, you can tell about what her libido is like. And with people with higher libido, maybe they're into my casual on the side. So if you have a broader face, now if you take the height of your face and the width, and it's the difference between the two, the people
Really?
with the widest faces have the strongest libido.
I did not know that.
I did not know that. Of course, they could be filled with, poo, but that's what they're saying. and it's the and they always give terms to stuff
What?
that's so what? It's a university. It's nip pissing in Canada.
Nip pissing, honey.
It's the same word. It's N-I, you know whating. That's just the way it is. But anyway, so if someone is like that, first of all, yeah, dog it. But also look out because their libido might be so strong they might wander. That's it. Wonder what the cheer is, the football team is at that university. Or their mascot. What would it be?
Man, that's a really good point.
Thanks.
Where are we going with that? When we're
We're done. We're not going to go any farther. All right, got some national headlines.
Let's go to Daisy. She's in the Gephardt Daily Newsroom. Of course, she's brought to you by Fink & McGregor. Mortgage is made simple. If you go to fink-mcgregor.com, you will be amazed at how many options you actually have for a mortgage because they are not a bank. They are a mortgage broker. Also, they can have someone call you back within the next business day. Also by Black Diamond Experts. You know, they have a new office now in Ogden. Congratulations, guys. You'll be glad you called an expert. It's Black Diamond Expert at Electric, Plumbing, Heating, and Air, blackdiamondexpert.com. Daisy, what's going on today?
Good morning, Todd and Erin. Hello again, everyone. Here's what's making headlines this morning, Monday, September 25th, on GephartDaily.com. Players and owners of the NFL are telling Donald Trump where to get off. The reaction comes after Trump bashed players who take a knee during the National Anthem while protesting police violence aimed at African Americans. Hundreds of players from every team took part in metaphorically thumbing their nose at Mr. Trump by taking a knee or linking arms with fellow players prior to Sunday's games. Trump had urged NFL owners to fire any son of a bitch who does not stand for the national anthem during an Alabama campaign rally Friday night. And the Trump administration stirred a bit more controversy this weekend by unveiling new travel restrictions for countries in the Middle East, Africa, and Asia. In a statement Sunday night, the White House called the new restrictions a critical step towards establishing an immigration system that protects American safety and security in an era of dangerous terrorism and transnational crime. The new policy was announced just as a previously established temporary travel ban was set to expire. And don't look now, but Politico is reporting Jared Kushner, Trump's son-in-law, has been using a private email account to conduct official White House business. Kushner's lawyer is playing down the report, saying fewer than 100 emails have been sent. You may recall during the 2016 campaign, Trump repeatedly criticized Democratic opponent Hillary Clinton for her use of a private email server during her time as Secretary of State. No word yet if he thinks his son-in-law should be locked up. That's it for now. For more headlines from across the country and around the world, go to GephartDaily.com. For now, Todd and Erin, back to you.
Thank you, Daisy. All right, Black Diamond Experts. Now, when I say expert, that means experts in electric, plumbing, heating, and air. So this is the time of year, and especially over this weekend, they were telling me they got a boatload of calls because people are all of a sudden trying their furnace and going, this isn't working. Crap, this isn't working. So they were running out. They were putting their booties on their shoes so that everything was all tidy and clean. And the guy that you get at your house is licensed, bonded, and insured, so you're comfortable letting him in. And they take a look at the furnace, and they get everything moving for you. And or maybe there's repairs needed, they'll give you a bid, and it will be exactly what it was. Once it's fixed, it will not be extra. It will not be extras overs. It will not be late fees. It will not be this and that. It will be what they quoted you, which to me is like the best incidence of a square deal that I can ever imagine, because nobody likes that surprise at the end when you get the bill, like, oh, I didn't tell you about that part. They're not like that. And now that they have a new office in Ogden, you have even more Black Diamond Experts to call. So you can call 801-207-7976, or the easiest way is just to go to blackdiamondexpert.com.
All right, so this is interesting, and I know I've heard senators do this before, and they try to live off food stamps. Now, explain what's going on.
Well, it's interesting. I'm beginning to like Lieutenant Governor Spencer Cox more and more. You know, remember when Bill Gephardt interviewed him, and he's an interesting guy. He travels a ridiculous amount of time every day.
He's like practical.
Up to Capitol Hill because his family wants to stay where they are now. But
and like Penguin or something.
Yeah, but he's
Payson. He's
very open to like all of the segments of society here.
Right.
He's been very supportive of a lot of different groups.
He's way too reasonable to be on the Hill.
It does seem irrational.
So what did he do?
Well, Utahns Against Hunger picked him and 25 other people and said, would you be willing to live on
I wanted to do
food
this.
stamps?
Why did they pick
Would you? And so he only did it for a couple of days. Most
Right.
of people tried to dig in and do it for at least 2 or 3 weeks.
Right.
Well, here's the deal. I don't know if you know how much people get for food stamps on a day? How much do you think it is?
With kids and stuff? Mm-hmm. Like a whole family?
No, just per person.
Oh, per person? I don't know, $8.
$4.20.
Excuse me?
$4.20 a day. So I want you to think back
Hang on.
to college when you had no money and what you lived on, which was basically macaroni and cheese, because I could get 5 boxes for $1, and I would make it into pancakes, and I would make little sandwiches out of macaroni and cheese.
$4. So us is four kids, $4.20. It's like $17, right? Mm-hmm. So $17
for the day.
Okay.
That's not per meal. That's for the day.
Number one, you have to cook. Mm-hmm. You can't go processed. You'd have to cook. So I would do.
Actually, fresh ingredients will cost more than processed foods. That's what he was finding out. He said
that's the point, though.
He said it was too easy to get prepared box food. He said it was really difficult to eat healthy. He said because basically the only kind of things I could afford were like protein bars and mac and cheese. And so fresh food is actually a lot more expensive. Think about produce.
Okay, this is what I would do. You ready? Cereal in the morning, generic, big bag. Because that's going to last you days. So it's not like one expenditure. It is on that one day, but it's going to last you, 2 or 3 weeks, right? Potatoes. Potatoes are good buy. Noodles are good buy in bulk. Everything's got to be in bulk. Chicken gizzards and liver. I did that when I was, the kids won't eat it. And hearts. Ooh, I did that in college. That won't really be popular in your house.
No, I'm afraid
But
not.
frozen turkey. You have to cook. You can't do this process. Frozen turkey is like $1, $2 a pound. $1.90, $2 a pound. Frozen turkey.
Okay, let's go back to fresh fruit and vegetables, all the things that you need for nutrition. I mean, you can get stuff like frozen vegetables. It's true.
Right.
It's true.
For $1 for a package, right.
Okay, but once again, let's go back to this. So this is
You
like
have to go frozen.
$17 a day.
Right. Oh, I'm not saying it's easy.
Nutritionally,
I'm
how
saying
would
it's
you...
impossible. I'm just saying that I might have some skills with this.
It was interesting. He said, well, you're a MacGyver. You would always come up with a way. That's who you are. But for the average person, especially maybe if you don't have, if you have to use public transportation, maybe you don't have a car, maybe that you don't get to shop as much.
Right.
These are all the challenges that they were facing.
I can go to a farmer's market. I can go to a store that's 4, 5, 10 miles away and get their bulk food stuff because I can afford the gas to get there.
Yeah, and how do you carry bulk food home on a bus? Those are the kind of the challenges. But it was interesting. Even Lieutenant Governor Spencer Cox said, even trying to plan ahead for it, he said, there were times that I was hungry. He said, I went to bed hungry both nights.
Right.
And so if you think about that, you go back to the concept of kids, of going to bed hungry.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine having a teenager with how much they eat?
I mean, Zachary's like a never ending. He got up again at 11 o'clock last night to go for more of the chicken.
You'd be giving up your food for your kids. You'd have to.
And they call it food insecurity, which is essentially that it means that at some point during the week, at least 2 times you will be hungry. And they're saying that 1 out of 5 kids in Utah has food insecurity.
Say that one more time.
1 out of 5 children in Utah has food insecurity.
And you've seen it in the story.
And this is even after food stamps, and this is even
different
after
WIC?
filling out.
Is this different than WIC?
WIC is actually is very helpful. The reason they were made is to make sure that mothers could get more fresh foods like milks and cheeses and eggs and things.
You see the label where the milk is bought, and it says WIC approved.
Yeah, it's a little extra, and it's nice. It helps a lot, especially, and it's predominantly designed for younger children to make sure they get additional nutrition. But it was just an interesting challenge, he said, and I think about it too. Yes, because you are MacGyver, you would probably come up with like this epic menu.
But I'd also have the time to do it, and that's different.
Yeah, I mean, if you're working 3 minimum wage jobs,
right,
and you don't get benefits, but you have to work 3 to keep your kids going, when do you? So that's some of the challenges that they faced.
Well, good for
and
him
it was
for
interesting.
doing that. Yeah.
And I like the fact that he was willing to do it so he could bring attention to the reality of. This is what if you think that someone on food stamps is living high on the hog and buying expensive cell phones.
You always, you know what? You always hear this.
I know.
And it just, they're buying nail polish. No, they're not. And number 2, if they are, it's such a small percentage of the families who are getting help. And here's the big one.
Yes, there's always
Kentucky,
grifters. We know that.
And then the other complaint is, and they did this in Kentucky, they did drug testing. And first of all, why would you punish the kids because of a parent's
whatever they're
addiction? But they did it in Kentucky, and they stopped the process because it was less than 1% that had drugs in their system, and they were receiving federal funding for food.
Less than 1%.
And they closed it down. I've read that like 4 different places. All right, so
That's
anyway.
amazing. So it's an interesting challenge, but for us anyway, because we can eat more than that. But if you can't,
It's pretty amazing.
it does make me wonder how you get enough nutrition, how you take care
All
of
right.
yourself.
Well, speaking of food, coming up next, it's the gayest bake sale ever. Next.
We're brought to you this morning by Executive Transportation. Elegant service, professional style. Go to executiveutah.com. And All Utah Plumbing. Your home deserves the best. 24-hour emergency service at allutahplumbing.com. Did you know you can catch the Todd and Erin morning stream any time of the day or night on Facebook, YouTube, and SoundCloud, and GephardtDaily.com?
All right, so
It's interesting talking about the food stamps.
Right.
Misty, who is not on food stamps, but she was just saying, man, I can't relate because she says, I've got two teens.
this is on Facebook.
Yeah, 2 teens and 2 young girls. She said summertime was brutal on my budget. When
Well,
they weren't in school,
Because they got a free meal at school.
because
and
a lot of people get, breakfast or lunch subsidized.
and a lot of school districts kept it running during the summer.
Yeah, they tried to go to as many
Right.
places they could where kids would congregate to make sure they still got the meals. But think about that. Your food insecurity would even go up more during summer. All right, moving on.
Let's talk about the biggest gay bake sale in the history of gay people.
Gayest bake sale ever. I'm sorry, but that totally cracks me up.
Mean that in a good way, by the way.
No, I totally love this. This is so funny.
This is funny.
Okay, well, this is Hillary McDaniel and Kat Kellemeyer, and they announced that they were going to do the gayest bake sale ever. And so what they wanted to do is they were trying to draw attention to the Utah Pride Center's LGBT youth survivors of suicide support group.
Right.
Because LGBT youth have the highest suicide rate in the nation. The highest.
Right.
They're also the most likely to be sexually abused, physically assaulted, and homeless. I mean, those are some pretty brutal statistics.
They are.
So what they wanted
And a
to
lot
do...
of families kicked them out of their homes,
Yeah.
which is horrible.
Don't make me cry.
Go.
Don't. So basically, Miss Hillary and Kat wanted to draw attention to this, and so they did the gayest bake sale ever to raise funds for the group, which I just absolutely love. I'm sorry.
Right.
And so they raised more than $4,000, and they
Nice.
were very proud.
Nice.
And they put out a challenge while they were doing the press conference, and they
Right.
said, we would like to challenge the LDS Church to match our donation.
Oh.
And the reason why, and I give the church huge credit for this, they had done a press release right after the Love Loud Festival for LGBT youth.
Right.
This is the one that was done by Imagine Dragons lead singer, and it was basically trying to spread the love, draw awareness.
Right.
And they had put out this press release. They said, we applaud the Love Loud Festivals for LGBT youth's aim to bring people together to address teen safety and to express respect and love for all of God's children. We join our voice with all of those who come together to foster a community of inclusion in which no one is mistreated because of who they are or what they believe. We share common beliefs, among them the pricelessness of our youth and the value of family. We earnestly hope this festival and other related efforts can build respectful communication, better understanding, and civility as we all learn from each other. And Kellemeyer was so sweet. She said, we all want the same thing. We want to do everything we can to tell our young people that they're loved. We want to reduce the high rate of suicide in our teens. And she said, that's why we wanted this to be a better support center where these kids could come and find help. So that's why they challenged the matching funds. And if you would also like to donate to the cause, we'll put up the website for you where you can go
On
and
Facebook.
donate for the gayest bake
There you
sale ever. I'm just sad that I missed the bake sale.
I am
'cause
too.
I
I'm
really
just
would have
thinking,
liked a cake.
I
I'm
would've-
thinking
yeah.
about it. It's like,
Yeah.
crap, that would have been really good. So,
What's Wisconsin known for?
cheese.
That's true. But they
Cheese and beer.
also have an issue. So you've heard about the issues with what do they call the dances in high school going on right
Proms.
now? Yeah, but there's another one too. Anyway, so in Wisconsin,
Oh, like homecoming?
yeah,
That's a prom.
right.
Well, it's a prom.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So anyway, see, there's always been this thing about dress codes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the guys just like anything they want, and the women, it's just like, oh no,
Well, with
you're
the
gonna
guys,
drive,
you're just
you're gonna drive the men crazy.
Well, the guys, you're just excited if you can get them in a tie. I mean, it's like it's a fairly low bar, but you're right. The women, because fashion is such a big deal.
Right. It's not like they're Amish. So anyway, this is what they don't allow. They don't allow spaghetti straps.
Really? That seems a little unreasonable.
This drives men crazy. They don't allow short skirts. They have to be
How short?
the tip of your fingers running down your leg.
Okay, let's see.
So just above the knee. just above the knee, right there.
That's about, well, that's not bad. That's mid-thigh. That's
Well, you
about
have
3 inches above.
You have short little hands, arms. And so, come back
You know,
here.
between this and Rush Limbaugh,
Good.
you're on the sectional tonight.
You got
Go
no
on.
cleavage, none. You can't do cleavage.
Not
no,
at all,
No.
huh?
And how do you think they enforce this? Because you know what? You show up at the door, you're
Now,
out.
let's be honest. We have all seen them. There are prom dresses right now that are so alarmingly slutty that
it's
I am
true.
really stunned. I mean,
It's
there's
true.
some that are like tube tops and mini, and just like, really? For the prom? But most girls,
Like midriffs and stuff, like, not that
ridiculously,
that's
wildly,
slutty.
overwhelming
Right.
majority of girls
Right.
wear a very pretty dress that they
Right.
look very nice in.
So in Wisconsin, for their high school, they make you send them a picture
Of what?
before of your dress on front and back, so you
Are
can
you
get your
kidding
ticket.
me?
See, now it's changed the direction of this conversation. They make the girls take a picture of themselves in their dresses, front and back, send it in, and until they are approved, they don't get tickets to the occasion.
Wow, that's not incredibly sexist in
Right.
every possible way.
Right.
Some creepy old guy sitting there ogling you in your dress on the
Yeah.
pictures.
Yeah. Some creepy old woman doing the same. It's both ways, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm somehow guessing that the boys don't have to send a picture of what they're going to be wearing.
Well, they could. They just take a front picture and they, wear buttless chaps, and you wouldn't know, and you could get into the thing and get your stuff.
They really seriously had to. They really seriously had to send a picture of them
There
in
was
their
a
prom
comment
dress.
at the school. So this has been greeted with a lot of approval from most of the
From
people,
who?
Most of the parents. Because spaghetti straps will drive men crazy. I had to ask on this next thing.
And once again, let's go to the third element here. So it's the female's responsibility to make sure she doesn't drive the man crazy. Because you guys are bestial creatures with apparently no self-control and no brain, so that something as simple as a spaghetti strap would turn you into an assault freak, right? So that's really flattering to you as a male as well, that's their
So we
assumption of
can't
who you are.
respect someone who has spaghetti strap.
Yeah, that's really equally as insulting to men that they think that's who you are. Wow, you guys get like a double win for obnoxiousness.
We should just have them wear a burqa
Really?
with the headgear and everything.
You know the sad part? I would totally take except for that it would be offensive, and I wouldn't want to
Right.
appear to ridicule my friends who are Muslim. But
Right.
I would totally wear something similar, like maybe like something like gingham and right up to my chin.
Amish.
Something like Queen Elizabeth, the picture we just saw, which is
Yeah.
I think essentially
Polygamous
what they
girl.
wanted.
Right.
Something with braids, and I'd be
Sure.
standing there looking all scary.
John Stewart had Angelina Jolie on, and she had just done some more charity work, and she had gone and she decided that she would wear a burqa
Well,
because she wanted to fit in. She wanted to be part of the community.
but when you're in an Islamic country, you have to.
Right. So in this part, they did. And so she said, I wore the burqa with the full gear. And John Stewart just leaned across and just went, "You bet you rock that burqa." Which is funny.
Angelina Jolie would still be impossibly beautiful, even in a burqa. There's no way around that.
Earlier in the show, we talked about Daisy and how we treat her like she's from Mars because she's from England. And I keep asking the comparison of does this happen in England? Then like that. And so I said, parking in front of your house. Let's say in not a downtown area, but in a suburb. But parking your car, somebody else parking their car in front of your house. Now, we did live across the street from a parking Nazi who made sure that everyone parked in the right positions.
He would leave anonymous notes on our nanny's car windshield telling them they couldn't park on his side of the street.
Not in front of his house, just on
Robin
his side
Taco.
of the street. He's gone now.
Yeah, thank God.
And we are too. So the point being, I said, is that a big deal? And she goes, well, it is kind of a unwritten rule, sort of.
Is it like it's probably like a courtesy thing? Like
Yeah.
if there's not tons of like driveways where you really have anywhere else to park, it's probably a big deal. And if you take a look at a lot of suburban streets,
Yeah.
I think about Harry Potter's neighborhood. There weren't any.
Just like that. Just like that.
There weren't any driveways. I mean, so
This is true. All right, so here's the deal. This guy freaked out. He basically looked out, and he's close to the airport. And so as opposed to paying airport parking, what a lot of people do is they'll park very close to the airport, call a cab, takes the cab, so they park for free on the street. Unfortunately, this person parked in front of his house, this woman, and evidently he didn't like it. Guess how long it was there?
I don't know, like a week and a half or something.
2 days.
Wow.
A little hypersensitive, I think.
He snapped a little early. Okay.
He did.
What did he do?
He put his plan into action. You know when you see a pallet of something and it's wrapped in that 3-foot wide plastic that goes around and it's strong enough that it actually holds the pallet together, the different boxes.
We learned about this. Remember when all those Category 5 hurricanes went through Oklahoma, and this was, Lord, what, 20 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
And we did a fundraiser on the air that morning and ended up with 5 tractor-trailer trucks on their way. This was in the old days when you did things like that. Now you donate money and they can make it work much faster.
So they had a turntable.
But they were showing us.
They put the pallet on it and then...
And Todd's had this clean wreck stuff ever since because we use it for everything. I mean,
Right.
It's amazing how well it holds.
Movers use it as well.
Yeah.
So he took that to her car.
Oh, man.
And
That's going to take a while to saw through.
And he didn't just do a little... Do we have that? And he wrapped this car up like a spider wraps up a fly until the fact that he used the whole roll. There it is. Look at that thing. It looks like a spider web. And
That's going to be fun.
underneath, over the top. And if you've ever tried to cut this, first of all, who gets back from an airplane, an airport
With
with a
some
knife,
scissors, yeah.
with a knife on him?
Oh,
no one.
That's not realistic. Yeah,
I think that's brilliant.
that really is funny.
My friend covered someone's car with Oreos.
You know what the worst
Just open them up and
the worst one you can do, bologna to the windshield.
Right, bologna
because there's
to the
something about
windshield.
the chemical composition of bologna to the windshield. If it freezes overnight, it freezes to the windshield and you cannot get it off. You cannot chisel it off. Chunks will still remain angrily until like spring. And I know this because we actually did this to this guy who broke up with my sister. That was a really long story and we were young.
it's like Shania
then,
Twain.
But it worked really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bologna.
Bologna to the windshield.
Interesting. All right, so anyway.
Luncheon meat, there's nothing you can't do.
All right, celebrating the first day of fall pumpkin what?
Pumpkin spice. Pumpkin spice. Well, we've seen every form of pumpkin spice. We were talking about earlier in the show.
So
Todd and I were-
coffee from Starbucks.
every manner of food. And Todd and I
Eggnog.
were especially offended by the eggnog. We felt that was wrong.
Eggnog, every cookie that you can think of,
The
including
Villa-
Oreos.
The Villa Italian Kitchen has released a pumpkin spice pizza to celebrate fall. We know you crave that warm pumpkin spice flavor this time of year. So we've created a delicious menage of classic Villa Italian cheese pizza
Yep.
with all the cozy seasonal flavors of fall just for you.
I hope it's a joke.
No,
I hope
it's
it's a
right
joke.
there.
I hope it is.
You know
I
what,
hope
they-
it is.
they
They
use
treated
it-
it like a gourd and then like a squash, and I hope to take it and then maybe brown it or something and then put it on the pizza. Not that spicy, I'm eating a pumpkin pie stuff.
Hand tossed dough, then pumpkin pie filling, nutmeg, clove,
They did
cinnamon,
it.
and then mozzarella cheese
Horrible.
melted on top.
Garlic and pumpkin. What is wrong with people? A sacred food has been ruined, folks. They should put
I feel
them
a
out of
little
business.
violated right now.
Really? A little?
Just a little violated.
Anyway, you guys have a great day. We appreciate you watching and listening, whether you're doing it right now live or you're doing it later. Hi, how you
Don't
doing?
forget to drop a comment so you can enter for Christopher's.
It's the Todd and Erin Morning Stream on GetPartDaily.com.